It's the end of the 15th century, 1475, 1480. The Mediterranean is the center of the world, and the world is a strange one to our eyes. There isn't much of it, just Europe, a little of Africa, Britain, an island outpost to the north, Japan and China, dim lands to the east. The rest is water, the limitless ocean sea. Most sensible people believe the earth is flat, but here and there, a crackpot theorist is convinced that it's a sphere, that you can sail right around it. It's 1485 now, and one of these crackpot fellows is toiling up the long slope to the monastery at Rábida in Spain.
Diego, come and look. What's the matter?
I'm so tired.
You'll soon be able to rest. You see that building over there, the one on the hill? That's Rábida, where the friars live. They'll give us food and a bed for the night. Think you can walk as far as that?
I'll try.
Good. And if you're a good boy and keep very quiet, maybe they'll help me to see the Queen.
How can they do that?
Ah, that's a long story.
Tell me.
No.
Please, Father.
Promise you'll never mention it to anyone else.
I promise. Cross my heart.
Well, the prior, Father Parrott, is the one I want to see. He used to be the Queen's confessor, and it may be that he'll give me a letter to her.
Will you really see the Queen?
I hope so. Only remember, he must know what we're after. If he suspects, he'll be careful. So we're just two weary travelers, you understand?
You are welcome, brother. What do you seek?
Of your charity, a little bread and a cup of water for the child.
Will you come inside?
Thank you.
Pax Domini sit tecum.
Tecum, Pax.
I see you're a scholar, my son, as well as a traveler.
Certainly a traveler, Father. I've sailed as far north as Iceland, as far south as Guinea, and eastwards to the Golden Horn.
But that is to have reached the limits of the world.
Of the known world, yes, Father, but of the actual world, not by 1,000 leagues.
How can you say that, never having seen it?
Have you ever seen heaven or hell?
We have sound reasons for believing they exist.
I have sound reasons, too.
What are they?
The same as yours, faith and revelation, to which I can add cosmography and mathematics.
What's that you have there?
Bread and water for the child, Father. That's what they asked for.
Have we nothing better to offer?
I brought the boy an apple, too.
An apple. Take them inside. Brother Jose will show you to the guest chamber. I hope you'll do us the honor of spending the night here.
You are too kind, Father.
Not at all. You shall pay for your supper by telling us more about this new world of yours.
Gloria Patri et Filio et Spiritui Sancto, sicut erat in principio et nunc et semper, et in saecula saeculorum. Amen.
There's no need for us to go yet. Stay and drink another cup of wine. And tell us why you're so impatient to sail to India.
For two reasons, Father. First, because there are thousands of heathen in those parts waiting to be converted. And because they are rich in gold and spices.
The first reason is better than the other.
Gold has its uses.
True, and most of them bad. But why sail to the west?
Because that's the quickest route to India.
How can that be when India is to the east?
You agree that the Earth is a sphere, like this.
That is the accepted belief among philosophers.
Very well. Then here is Spain, and here are India, China, and Japan. Now, if instead of traveling east by land, we travel west by sea, we come in some 3,000 miles to Japan again.
And where do you go now?
To France, and if I'm unlucky there, to England.
But why to France?
Because a voyage like this needs ships and money. Perhaps the French will give them to me. The Portuguese won't. 2 years I've been kicking my heels in Lisbon trying to explain my scheme to people who can't see beyond their noses. 2 years.
But why go to France? Why not Spain?
I know no one at the Spanish court. I am a foreigner, without influence, without friends. What chance have I got?
My son, do you believe in the workings of a divine providence?
Of course, Father.
Because it may be providence that brought you here today.
I don't understand.
I'll tell you. For many years, I was confessor to the Queen. I believed that if she were to hear your story, she might lend it a friendly ear.
You mean you could give me a letter to the Queen?
No.
Oh, but I thought you...
My son, in affairs of state, you must learn to move slowly. I will give you a letter to a friend of mine at court. She will introduce you to others with influence. And one day, if Providence is still kind, you may meet the Queen. Come and see me in the morning before you leave.
Thank you, Father.
What happened to the boy's mother?
She's been dead these 2 years, Father.
I'm glad you decided to leave him with us. He'll be safe here, and it will provide an excuse for your coming to visit us again. Goodbye, my son.
Goodbye, Father. I shall never cease to give thanks that Providence led me to you.
My son, one of the lessons I've learned in the course of a long and not entirely uneventful life is that Providence works best when she's aided with a little knowledge.
I don't understand, Father.
Don't you? Do you mean to tell me that you didn't know who I was before you arrived here last night?
Well, naturally, your reputation...
As the Queen's confessor?
Yes, Father. I admit it.
I hope Providence will continue to assist you to meet the right people. Goodbye, my son. God be with you.
Goodbye, Father.
I leave you with the boy.
Wait here, please, sir.
Your servant, madam.
The good prior writes of your project with great enthusiasm. Are you sure that he couldn't be mistaken?
Father Pereth is a learned man, madam. I wouldn't presume to doubt his judgment.
I didn't say I doubted him. I know him too well for that. But you I do not know at all.
That is my loss, madam. And an omission, I trust, will soon be rectified.
There's no need to practice your pretty speeches on me. I hear too many of them around the court. Do you seriously believe in a new world across the ocean?
I'd stake my life on it.
You may be asked to do that one day.
I am ready.
If I can arrange for you to see the Queen, I said if, you'll be ready with evidence and arguments to support your case?
Madam, I can talk for 2 hours on the subject without repeating myself.
I don't doubt it. But please save that for the Queen.
Then I shall see her.
Call on me again next Thursday, and I'll tell you what progress I've made.
But Your servant, madam.
I'm where you're going, idiot.
I humbly beg your lordship's pardon.
I am not a lord.
I trust that omission will soon be rectified.
Who's he? I haven't seen him about before, have I?
No, but I think you may see a great deal of him in the future.
What's his line?
New worlds across the sea.
What new world? Where?
He wants their majesties to give him a fleet of ships so that he can sail west across the ocean and come to Japan and India that way.
Then he's crazy.
He seems very sure of himself.
Stuff and nonsense. The whole thing's ridiculous. We shall be the laughingstock of the civilized world.
Stuff and nonsense. The whole thing's ridiculous. We should be the laughingstock of the civilized world.
Exactly what I said, sir.
Let us at least hear all he has to say before we condemn him.
We've more important things to do than to listen to sailors' stories about imaginary islands. There's a war on. You have our leave to withdraw, sir.
But your majesty...
You have our leave to withdraw.
Master Columbus? Yes? I have a message for you. The Queen will see you in her apartments tomorrow morning.
The Queen?
At 11 o'clock.
Come closer. I dislike speaking to people at a distance. You seem to have interested the Duke of Medina Thali in your idea, as well as Father Perret. He writes that he is ready to help you. What do you say to that?
It's a matter for the crown, madam. It's too great a thing for anyone less.
You seem to have impressed the Duke.
I talked to him, your majesty.
Has he talked to you too, Chancellor?
He does nothing else but talk, your majesty.
I understand you have also talked to expert gentlemen in Portugal who were not impressed.
They know very little in Portugal, madam.
Indeed. That is rather my experience with my own experts. Talk to me then freely, but briefly.
Briefly, madam. With all the proofs I have to give, an hour at least.
An hour? I'm indulging myself as it is.
Assuredly, madam.
Now then, briefly.
I have knowledge of certain lands to the west, which can be reached.
Yes, yes. India is to be reached by a short western passage. I know all that. I've read it in these letters. Forget your maps and reckonings and calculations. They may be right or wrong. But when you speak of new lands along this route, what is it that you imagine? What is it that you see?
I see an empire for the sovereigns of Castile and Aragon such as no monarch ever dreamed of. A land whose illimitable riches would pay for these Moorish wars a dozen times.
What else?
The Holy Sepulchre itself could be rescued from the power of Mohammed. It's an ambition many great princes have lived for and have died without seeing. Humbly, it is mine, for the glory of your majesty.
You have heard that the noblest aims can cause men to twist the facts to serve their theories.
Majesty, I am as sure of what I shall discover as if it were under lock and key in my room at home. Set all my proofs aside, and this I still know, that I was elected, preordained, inspired. Madam.
Oh, yes, yes, very well. I think you had better remain here while the court stays. You shall be provided for meanwhile, and your project shall go to a royal commission. Does that satisfy you?
I'm deeply grateful, your majesty,
But you're impatient, I know. You must curb your impatience and wait. It's good for the soul. Are you married?
My wife died some years ago, madam.
Oh, I'm sorry.
So, we are kept waiting while this foreign quack peddles his crazy notions to the Queen. A fine state of affairs, I must say. If you ask me, it's a disgraceful waste of time and public money. This upstart mountebank from Genoa, a fellow who can't even speak Spanish correctly. Have you heard his accent? Expects us to listen to his crackpot schemes? It makes me sick.
Don't you think you'd better reserve judgment till you hear what he has to say?
I know what I think now.
Gentlemen, Master Columbus is waiting. Shall we take our places?
We are here, sir, by command of their Royal Highnesses, to hear your proposals in full detail, to weigh them and to question you, and afterwards to report on them to the sovereigns. You are assured of a fair and proper hearing, and I now invite you to set forth your arguments.
My proposals, gentlemen, begin and end with one assumption, that the Earth is round. A sphere, like a ball or an orange, and one deduction which I make from that assumption. If the Earth is round, and who nowadays doubts it, it must follow that a man who traverses the Earth by land or sea will one day return to the point from which he started. That, in essence, is the foundation, the kernel of my proposals. In support of them, I have a mass of evidence which I fully believe will convince your excellencies. These calculations show that we can expect to reach India after sailing some 750 leagues. But if we leave mathematics and physics and turn to the scriptures, we find justification for supposing that there is land between us and India.
And where do the scriptures say that?
The prophet Esdras, Your Excellency, tells us that God commanded the waters be gathered into a seventh part of the earth. In other words, there are 6 parts of land to 1 of water. Judge then from that how much land must still remain to be discovered. I would like to draw your attention to the writings of the Venetian, Marco Polo, who speaks of lands to the east of India and Cathay. Lands which must therefore lie between us and India if we travel westwards around the circumference of the earth.
Master Columbus, we have been here for 3 days. We have listened most patiently to your proposals, your theories, your suppositions, your assumptions. But so far we are without evidence of any sort. Have you no proof to give us?
With all due deference, I think you have had the proof. Proof by deduction is a form of proof known to every mathematician, and to a lesser degree by every mariner.
What do you say to that, my Lord Admiral?
The fellow's right enough. If you accept that the Earth is a sphere, then you must accept that by sailing to the west, you'll come to the east. If you go on long enough.
May I say something?
By all means.
If, as some of you seem so sure, I am not among you, but if the Earth is a sphere, then Master Columbus's case automatically falls to the ground.
Why so?
Because, sir, if you sail down the slope of the sea, how can you ever hope to sail up it again?
What is your answer to that?
The wind will blow the ships back again, of course.
What, uphill?
Water does not run uphill.
That is exactly what I'm saying. The whole scheme is preposterous.
Contrary, sir, it is you who are preposterous. You're behaving like an overgrown schoolboy and deliberately making asinine remarks in order to discredit.
That will do, Master.
But I submit, Your Excellency.
That will do. Because we understand your natural impatience, we shall not impose any punishment on you for your behavior. But you will apologize to the learned gentleman forthwith.
Learned gentleman.
Master Columbus.
Very well, I apologize.
The commission is adjourned until tomorrow at the same time.
Been waiting long?
3 years?
You're not serious.
Believe me, 3 years is not long. Not for a royal commission.
Well, I hope they don't keep me waiting that long.
What are you after?
An appointment as a notary.
I hope you get it.
Thank you. And you?
What about me?
Well, what are you after?
All I want is to present Spain with enough gold to fill a treasury for the next 100 years. Enough land to make her the greatest power in the world, and enough glory to satisfy 100 kings. You think I'm mad, I suppose?
No. No, of course not, but if you can really give them all that, well, why don't they take it?
I'll tell you why.
May I come in?
Please do.
I want to talk to you about my cousin. Has she been to see you yet?
No,
Well, when she does, do what you can. She's anxious to come back to court.
that won't be easy. After what happened last time.
That was 10 years ago.
The Queen has a long memory, especially where her husband's concerned.
I know. Well, do what you can. She's a nice little thing.
A pretty little thing, perhaps. I'm not so sure about the nice.
That's a question of taste, I suppose. Oh, I saw that fellow Columbus down below.
Well,
I take it he's waiting to see you.
suppose he is.
Do you think it would be kinder to tell him that he hasn't a chance?
I thought the Commission hadn't reported yet.
They haven't.
Well,
When they do, the answer will be no. You might as well give up now as later. Oh,
well, Master Columbus, what is it this time?
The same as last time. When do I hear something? When can I start?
I can't tell you that.
Doesn't anybody know?
You must be patient a little longer.
Patient. I waited 2 years in Portugal. I've waited 3 here. And where am I at the end of it all? Back where I started being patient.
It's the war, you know.
Oh, if it wasn't that, it'd be something else. Look at me. I'm so shabby, I'm ashamed to be seen in public. I've worn my clothes out rubbing up against anteroom doors.
I can't do any more.
I know. I'm sorry. It does me good to pour out my troubles to someone.
The court returns next week. Come and see me then. I may have news for you.
Voila. How wonderful to see you again. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean...
May I present Master Christopher Columbus, Madame Beatrice de Parata.
Christopher Columbus? Not the man who wants to sail around the world the wrong way.
The same.
But how delightful. You don't look like a crank at all.
Should I?
Well, it's rather a fantastic idea, isn't it?
I don't think so.
Oh, tell me confidentially. You're not really serious about this, are you? I mean, it's just an idea to make money, isn't it?
Certainly not.
You mean you really think you can do it?
Certainly.
But how terribly thrilling. Look, I've nothing much to do this evening. Why not meet me in the Court of Oranges and tell me all about it?
You're surely not interested in the ravings of a lunatic.
Oh, I deserved that, didn't I? I do apologize. Now, will you meet me and tell me all about it?
Very well. Your servant, madam.
Master Columbus!
Oh,
Master Columbus, come in and help us celebrate.
no, thanks. No, I'm not in the mood.
Oh, please, oblige me. It's not every day one gets a court appointment.
You got you
Come along. My friends, Master Columbus. Master Columbus, my friend.
We're drinking to Diego's new job.
Yes.
Go on, a drink to Diego.
My friends, I thank you. I shall try to be the best notary in any town, in any province, in any country in the world. Need I say more?
What's your line?
ships.
And how many have you got?
None.
He will have very soon.
Well, who's going to give them to him?
The Queen?
The Queen!
No. Tell him about your scheme, Christopher. Tell him what you told me this afternoon.
Hey, Diego, what sort of a celebration do you call this? Huh?
Bring us some more.
I'll get another.
Maize may come, maize may go, good red wine will ever flow. Above can may blow, while it keeps me warm below.
Yes, I must.
I hoped you'd stay and tell us more about your voyages.
At the moment, my voyages take place entirely on land. I'm glad you got your appointment. Goodbye.
I'm sorry we're such poor company.
Oh, it isn't that. Well, if you must know the truth, I'm penniless, and I can't sit and drink other people's wine if I can't buy a round in return.
Oh, is that all? Listen, I live here with my cousin. There's an empty room upstairs. You're welcome to stay as long as you like.
Well, I don't...
No, it's all right. There's something you can do for me in return.
What?
Take me with you when you go on your voyage.
Why do you want to come?
Because I believe you're about to make some wonderful new discoveries. I want to be there when you make them.
Well, bless you for that anyway.
Then you'll stay?
No, thank you.
Beatrice! This is Master Columbus, the man I told you about.
The man who wants to sail around the world the wrong way.
The same?
Somebody else said that to me today. What's so funny about it?
Oh, nothing. If you're sure you can do it.
Of course I'm sure.
But in the meantime, while he's waiting for his ships, he has to have somewhere to live, so I thought the little room upstairs.
I'll take your bundle.
Thank you. Oh, there's something your cousin forgot to tell you. I've no money.
Neither have we. So we start even. This way.
I brought it especially for you to see. Am I boring you?
A little.
I'm sorry.
You know what you need more than charts, don't you?
No, what?
More friends, more influence, more people like me who can say a word in the proper quarters.
But you've been away from the court for 10 years, you said.
Yes, but there's a reason for that. You see, when I was 17, I was rather beautiful.
You're very beautiful now.
I hoped you'd notice that eventually, but when I was 17, the king noticed it. The Queen thought he noticed it too often. So I was married and packed off to the Canaries.
You're married?
I was married. He's dead.
And you could say a word for me in the proper quarters?
Why not?
If you did, you'd be helping Spain.
Well, it's not really Spain I'm concerned about.
Well, and how does it feel to be a gay young widow at court?
I like it very much.
You have everything you want, I hope? Dresses, jewelry?
Yes? Why? Don't you like my dress?
It looks very attractive. And very expensive.
It was.
Does it ever occur to you to wonder where the money's coming from?
From Adnan's estate, I suppose. I've always left money matters to you.
They couldn't be in better hands. But there are some things even I can't do. Supposing you had your entire fortune here on the table, in gold pieces, shall we say, and you insisted on throwing it out of the window. I couldn't stop you.
Why do you say that?
That's what you're doing at the moment.
I don't understand.
Well, it's high time you did. Every penny that you and I and the rest of the family possess is invested either in the Canaries or in the Mediterranean sea trade. If this Genoese upstart you're so fond of gets his ships, and half of what he promises comes true, we're ruined. You as well as the rest of us.
I hardly know him.
You've been with him every day for the last fortnight.
But I know next to nothing about his scheme. What can I possibly do?
Marry him and make him settle down.
Marry him? How can I do that?
Must I draw you a diagram? Offer him security, position, and anything else you care to give him. And he'll give up this wild goose chase.
And if he won't?
Then there are other ways of disposing of him.
You wouldn't dare.
I'd do a good deal in order to avoid becoming a pauper. And so will you if you're as sensible as I think you are.
I'll have to think it over.
Well, don't think too long, or it may be too late. Sooner or later, he'll make a false step. They all do, you know. And then... I hope I make myself clear.
Beatrice, come and sit down. I want to ask your advice. Do you think I should marry again?
Do you want to?
I don't know.
Then don't. Marriage is difficult enough if both people want it badly. But if you're not sure, then it would be madness.
You haven't asked me who the lady is.
I don't need to.
What do you think of her?
I've never seen her.
Do you know all about her?
Oh, I know some of the things they say about her.
And what's your advice?
I can't advise you. But I can tell you, there are two kinds of wives. The wives who are ambitious and headstrong, who drive their men on and on till they get what they want.
And the other kind?
The others are the comforters, the cushions. The wives who smooth out their husbands' wrinkles and tell them how wonderful they are.
Which is the right kind for me?
You? You need both. Or neither. You're not the man to be satisfied with one thing for long.
You know, you're quite right. A man like me shouldn't have a wife at all. How can I do the things I have to do if all the time I'm thinking my wife will be wondering why I haven't come home, or the children will be calling for their father, poor little lambs? No. I shall take your advice. No more marriages for me. I must be free. Thank you, my dear. You've made me a very happy man.
You know what'll happen to you, don't you? If you're lucky enough to get your ships, you'll go sailing off, and maybe you'll find the new route to India, and maybe you won't. If you don't, you'll probably die looking for it. And if you do, you'll come back and the king will say, now go and find a new route to the North Pole. And you'll die looking for that. And if you're not very careful, you'll die long before you even get your ships.
Oh, of boredom?
No. Of a stab in the back, some dark night. You know you're surrounded by enemies.
Why? Nonsense.
It's true. There are hundreds of people at court who would be glad to see you dead.
Who?
Everyone who has a vested interest in some other sea route. Everyone whose trade may suffer if you're successful. Give it up.
And do what?
Settle down.
Can you imagine me settling down?
Why not? You could have a position at court. Money, security.
Master Columbus?
What is it?
His Excellency Don Francisco wishes to speak with you.
Better go. I'll wait for you here.
Columbus, how good of you to come. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
I hope you won't mind my touching on rather a personal matter, but after all, we're both men of the world, and there's no point in beating about the bush. You've been seeing a great deal of my little cousin lately.
Yes.
You find her attractive?
I find her a charming and congenial companion.
Exactly. But you know what people in court circles are like. They've nothing to do except gossip, and how they gossip. If you speak to a woman once, you're in love with her. You're seen with her twice, you're betrothed. 3 meetings and you might as well be married. I hope I make myself clear.
Not entirely.
Then I'll be blunt, Master Columbus. My cousin is a widow, young, beautiful, and unattached. You've been seeing a great deal of her. Tongues have been wagging. Her name has been coupled with yours, and that means that her good name is at stake. I'm forced to ask you now, what are your intentions? Well, sir?
You ask my intentions. I will tell you. It is my intention to cross the ocean sea until I come to India. That is my only thought. And nobody, man, woman, or child, is going to stand in my way. I hope I make myself clear.
Of course, you must make it clear to your cousin that no blame attaches to her. She cannot help her beauty any more than the king can help noticing it. She has a child, they tell me.
2, Your Majesty.
As a mother myself, I know how painful it is to be separated from one's children. Tell her that she has our permission to return to the Canaries. At once.
As Your Majesty pleases. And, Master Columbus, what do you wish done about him?
Nothing.
But surely.
Surely what?
But he has laid hands on the person of His Majesty.
I'm sure that the king has forgotten all about it. I advise you to do the same.
So, Master Columbus, we meet again. And this time there's no need for me to ask your intentions, because you haven't much say in your future plans, have you? You may not know it, but the king has a horror of violence, particularly when it's directed against himself. I've just left their majesties. They sent you a message. It's a very simple one. Make yourself scarce, Master Columbus. Go back to your Genoese slum. Go to the devil, if you please. But don't show your face around the court again, unless you wish something very unpleasant to happen to it. I hope I make myself clear.
Madam, I've bad news for you. Master Columbus is leaving Spain. He set out at daybreak for France. Madam, may I speak with you alone? Father Perez and the Chancellor are outside. They beg leave to see you.
About him?
Yes.
Your Genoese sailor seems to have powerful friends.
Isn't that one more proof that there must be something in what he says?
Bring them in. Gentlemen, I hear you've come to scold me.
No, Your Majesty. Simply to ask if there is no way of preventing this tragedy.
Madam, I marvel that a woman of such grace and understanding should fling away an opportunity like this for some other sovereign to pick up. It would be an inestimable service to God, your crown, and your country. Forgive me if I say I'm disappointed in you.
I'm sorry, Father. He asked impossible things.
Title or two, a little authority in lands you and I will never see.
But the cost.
I'd risk as much myself. Will do now, if your majesty will allow me.
No, I will not have him beholden to anyone but the crown.
And yet you won't help him.
Raise what is necessary on these.
Madam, there is no need for that. Your word is enough. The money shall be advanced to you till you're able to repay it with the gold from the New World.
And if there is no gold in your New World?
Then I will repay it myself. You shall have my bond for it.
You have great faith in him.
I have, your majesty.
Pray God you are right. Send someone to fetch him back. Say the Queen begs him to return.
Your majesty.
Master Christopher Columbus.
The same?
In the name of Her Majesty Queen Isabella.
So they've come to their senses at last.
Yes. You see that?
What?
The wind's just changed. It's blowing due west. Soon you'll see it filling the sails of the ships that'll take us to the New World.
Benedictio Dei omnipotentis, Patris et Filii et Spiritus Sancti, descendat super vos, et maniat semper.
Thank you.
Cast off the moorings! 3rd August, 1492. Set sail from Palos on the morning tide with 3 ships, the Santa Maria, the Pinta, and the Nina. God be with us in this great enterprise.
Is this yesterday's reckoning?
Yes.
12 leagues?
What about it?
Well, I'm no sailor, but surely with this wind, isn't that very little?
Look in my bunk under the pillow. Not much I keep from you, Diego. Open it.
Sunday, the 9th of September. We have made this day 19 leagues. But I have determined to reckon less than the distance actually covered, so that if the voyage is long, the crew shall not be terrified and disheartened. But surely some of the people in the fleet can reckon these things.
Plenty, but they won't think of it. The Pintans are good sailors, but they don't keep a log. They all accept my figures.
But suppose they question them?
And I'll say the currents are against us.
Are they?
They're dead in our favor.
What's the matter? Better come on deck. Something's wrong. What? I don't know. Something to do with the compass.
Compass?
Yeah.
I'll be there in a minute.
Soon it'll pull all the nails out of the planks, you mark my words.
Quiet, you.
It's all very well for you to shout quiet. What do you...
What is it? It's a needle, Admiral. What do you mean, the needle? It's no longer true.
The Magic Mountain's pulling it away from the north. We're adrift in strange waters without even a compass to guide us.
That's a fact, Admiral.
It's a proof that we've sailed out of the natural world God meant mankind to inhabit, if you ask me.
I didn't ask you. Variations at least 5 degrees west.
Is that all? Why, you poor fools. Even you, Kosa, seaman of your experience, you amaze me.
I can only trust my eye.
You mean you think the needle's wrong because it no longer points to the North Star?
Yeah, that's wrong.
Didn't it occur to you that it was the star that moved, not the needle?
The star? Oh, is that right, Pedro? He's right.
Come in.
May I speak to you, Admiral?
Of course.
I didn't say any more up above because I didn't want to provoke a riot.
That was very sensible of you.
But...
Huh?
In all my years at sea, I've never known the compass behave like that.
You've never sailed this parallel before.
Beg pardon, sir, but neither of you. So, how can you know that...
Just as I know a great many things that you don't. You must trust me, Juan. I know what I'm doing.
Anything you say, Admiral? Good night.
Good night.
So the pole star moved?
Of course not. It's a perfectly natural phenomenon, it must be. I know if you go east, the needle declines to the east. And I suppose we've sailed to a point where we must expect the needle to decline to the west. It must be it.
But for the men, the pole star moved.
Yes. Why not?
Why not indeed? Good night.
Good night. Tuesday, 18th September. 10 days out from the Canaries and 47 from Spain. The men are in good heart. Every member of the crew faces what lies before us with courage and determination. Well?
May we speak with your highness?
What do you want?
We want to go home, your worship.
What do you want me to do? Put the ship about and go back to Spain and say we failed?
Yes, please, Your Honor.
What are you afraid of?
Oh, they've never been further out than paddling for shrimp, sir. Shall I put a foot to their backs?
No. Let's hear what they're afraid of. Well?
Did you never hear of the Magic Mountain, Your Excellency?
No.
It's like a great magnet. It draws the ships, and then when they get close, all the nails come out of the planks and the ships fall to pieces.
Where is this wonderful mountain?
Over there, Your Reverence.
Have you ever seen it?
No,
Then stop talking about things you know nothing about. If there were such a mountain, there's only one place it could be, and that's the North Pole. We're not going to North Pole, we're sailing due west. Anything else?
Yes, Your Grace. Sea serpents.
Sea serpents?
Horrible great beasts 200 yards long that can swallow a whole ship in one gulp.
And the Sea of Darkness. Tell the Admiral about that.
That's the worst of them all, Your Highness. The Sea of Darkness. When you never see the sun again and go on and on into nothingness till you sail right over the edge of the world.
Now you listen to me. The ocean in front of us is the same as that behind. There are no sea serpents or magic mountains or anything else between us and the New World. I know exactly what I'm doing, and I don't want any more of your old wives' tales on my ship. If you're afraid of the dark, I'll take your wife with me next time and leave you home to mind the brats.
You can't do that.
Why not?
I ain't got none.
Let us thank Providence for small mercy.
There you are, 19. 19 days since we left the Canaries. And look at that.
What is it?
Well, can't you see?
No.
We are blind. For 19 days, that wind's been blowing steadily in the same direction to the west. You know what that means?
Oh, what?
We never get back.
Why not?
Suppose the Admiral sees sense and wants to turn round and go back. What's going to happen? How can we sail back the way we came with a wind that's always blowing from the east?
We can beat against the wind.
Yes, if you've got 6 months to do it in, and food for 6 months, and water for 6 months, huh? You know what?
What?
He don't dare to turn round and start for home.
Why not?
Because he knows we never get there. Not against a wind like that.
Wednesday, 19th September. Received signal from Pinthon Brothers desiring to come aboard.
Coming over for a talk, see? Now perhaps we'll hear something.
Do you think they want to turn back?
Well, they're sensible men and good sailors, aren't they? Of course they want to turn back. But they can't. They're finished. Same as us. And they know it. You mark my words.
Come in. You're welcome, gentlemen. Will you drink a cup of wine?
No, thank you.
To what do I owe the honor of this visit?
Time's come for a little plain speaking, Admiral. That's why we're all here together.
Go on.
Doing a little calculating. How many leagues do you say we've covered?
400, a little more or less.
Our calculations say it's more than 500.
Your calculation?
Oh, I know the Admiral doesn't think us very intelligent. But we can count, and we're prudent enough to take some notice of what's going on. Now, this chart you gave us, for instance.
What about it?
If we've sailed 500 leagues, I say if, surely we should have sighted Japan, or the Brazil Islands, or some islands at any rate. So far, not a sniff of one.
What else?
Isn't that enough?
Give me the chart. You agree this is our course?
Yes.
There. That's our approximate position now.
So we've overshot the island?
Certainly.
When?
In the night.
Then why didn't we stop and take a look at them?
Because I'm bound for Japan and India, not some measly little island.
We could have taken on fresh water if you'd stopped.
What would have happened after that? None would have said we've come far enough. Let's go home.
That's true enough. They would. Sure of that?
Just as sure as I am that we're going to find India.
Just how long do you think that's going to take?
It depends on the wind and the currents.
If we sail for 6 more days and don't sight land, will you turn back then?
No.
You see? The men have had enough, and the officers have agreed to turn back.
I haven't agreed. Let this be clear. I'll not turn back until my mission is accomplished. Say what you like, do what you like, kill me if you like. I can't stop you. But as long as I'm alive, we go on.
Nobody's questioning your orders.
I'm glad to hear it. And they'd better not. It If anything should happen to me, the Queen would see you hung as high as Haman for a set of treacherous traitors.
There's no need to talk like that, Admiral. You've explained what we want. We're satisfied.
It's Francisco I don't trust. He's the sly one.
Martin's the eldest. He'll do as he says.
He's a good sailor, that one.
Believed your story about the islands, too.
Why not?
Quite sure it was true.
Sure as I can be of anything.
And the weed around that crab they found was river weed?
Looked like that to me.
The Pale Star did move?
What are you trying to say, Diego?
Just wanted to ask yourself if you're sure of what you're doing.
Do you doubt me?
Not unless you doubt yourself.
What makes you think I do?
You're so careful always to convince everyone we're near land. A whale spouts and you cry, that's a sign land is near. A bird lights on the deck and you say, that's no marine bird, that's a jay.
It was a jay.
You see a bank of cloud and that's a sign of land. Weed, shellfish, everything's a sign of land. It's nearly 3 weeks since you left the Canaries. How much more of it?
200 leagues, roughly.
200 leagues? And you pretend we're near land?
I had to keep their spirits up.
You're really sure the land is there?
Yes.
Truly?
Yes. Must be. Must. Monday, 8th October. 30 days out from the Canaries and all well. The crew have taken new heart and have ceased to grumble.
I tell you, he's mad. He thinks because he says there must be land there will be land there. But the thing is, did God say there must be land there? Answer me that.
No.
All right. Then who are you going to trust? God or this jumped-up admiral from Genoa who's never commanded a ship before? Is he greater than God?
No,
Is he to decide whether we're to live or die?
No.
Look at that. 30 days we've been sailing these benighted seas. Do you want to sail them for 30 more?
No.
All right. Now, there's only one way to deal with him.
What's that?
Throw him overboard.
Throw him overboard?
Yeah, if he's so sure there's land there, let him swim to it.
What about the others?
Mr. Arana can join him. But Koza's all right. He'll turn back with us when he sees which way the wind's blowing. Now, who's for doing it?
Well, I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you.
Good. Now, don't make a move till I give you the signal.
Can I speak to you, Admiral? Privately. I have no secrets from Diego. Would you trust him with your life? Gladly. Why do you ask? Because your life's in danger. Let's have it. The men are going to mutiny. How do you know? I know. What you going to do about it? Are you with me or them? Why'd you think I'm here? It's a silly question. I shouldn't have asked it. How many others can you count on? 3 beside myself. Maybe 4. Can't do much. They haven't any arms. Well, all they need, a knife or 2, marlin spike, meat axe, and 40 of them against 6 of us, including the boy. When do they start? Tonight. After the Salve Regina. Have your 3 on the quarterdeck with us when the Salve Regina begins.
Hey, Admiral. Hey.
Were you addressing me?
Yes, I was.
What do you want?
We want to know whether you're ready to turn back and start for home.
Yeah, and at once. It's no business of yours, but the answer is no.
All right, we'll turn back and sail without you. Come on,
Land ho!
Mutiny is a crime punishable by death. You all know that. I could string every man Jacoby up to the yardarm right now. But I'm not going to. I'm not even going to hang your ringleaders. And I'll tell you why. This is a glad and historic day in the history of Spain. Today, for the first time, men have crossed the ocean from east to west and discovered the new route to India. Today, Spain is mistress of the seas. And while all this is happening, you're sniveling about the safety of your miserable skins and rebelling against the authority of your betters. I'll say no more. The incident is closed. You can pick up your weapons and return to your duty. But I hope you'll all thank God that in his infinite mercy, he has saved you from the fate you deserve. See what you did?
What did I do?
You're the one who ought to be flung overboard.
Still asleep.
Asleep?
It's the relief after all he's been through. Went to sleep the moment he got in here last night and hasn't stirred since.
Well, you better wake him.
Why?
That land we saw last night. Well, it's not there this morning. What's that? What did you say? There's no land in sight, Admiral. I swear by San Fernando. I might have known it.
The crew are looking ugly. And the Pinthon brothers are coming over. They're just lowering away a boat.
I'll be there in a moment. Of course you're disappointed to find that we didn't sight land. I'm disappointed too. But it's no more than I expected. A false landfall, half a dozen false landfalls. You're bound to get them when you're sailing new seas. But the fact remains that we are near land.
How do we know?
Because I tell you so. But I don't ask you to accept me on trust forever. We'll sail west for 3 more days and nights. If by dawn on the 4th day we haven't sighted land, we'll turn around and make for home. Does that satisfy you?
Hey, what does Master Pinthon say?
The Admiral gives the orders here, not I. And you've heard what he has to say. It's good enough for me, and it should be good enough for you.
And if we don't sight land then?
Go about and make for home.
How do we know he means it?
Because I say so. Now, publicly. At the end of 3 days, if we haven't sighted land, you can cut off my head, throw me overboard, do as you please. Is that clear?
Yeah.
All right. Now get back to your watch. Tuesday, 9th October. This morning I promised the men that if we did not sight land within 3 days and nights, we would turn back. Today made 32 leagues, but no sign of land. Pray God we find it soon.
It is our tell you. It's quite fresh.
Here, what's that? He's tasting seawater. He says it's fresh. Huh? Give it to me.
Well, it's fresher than it was yesterday.
You call that fresh? Fresh.
Wednesday, 10th October. Today the sky is overcast, but we sighted a great flock of birds heading south. I am sure we are near land.
One of the boys fished up half an hour ago.
Diego!
Where did it come from?
You see this carving? That was done by a human being, and it proves that we're near land.
I hope you're right.
So do I.
Admiral! Admiral! A branch with flowers on it!
Flowers, eh? You can't eat flowers.
Well, what do you think it is, then?
That devil stuff. Just to lead us on, that's all that is.
Thursday, 11th October. Thus far and no land. Another 12 hours will decide.
Well, you can go on looking if you like. I'm going to sleep. Wake me in the morning when we turn back.
Diego. Diego!
Yeah?
Look over there. Where? There. Do you see anything? A light?
Yes. Yes, I can. Koza!
You see something?
Look, over there.
A light. We've done it. You've done it. Yes. And now I think I'll go and rest. God, who has brought us safely to the end of our journey, we thank thee for all thy mercies. Help us, we pray thee, to govern these new lands wisely and well, and to bring the inhabitants within the knowledge and understanding of thy kingdom, for the greater glory of thy name. Amen.
In the name of their Majesties, Ferdinand and Isabella, King and Queen of Castile, Leon and Aragon, I now take possession of this land and name it San Salvador. I declare that this is Spanish soil for all time, and that the natives hereof are subject to Spanish rule. It is our earnest desire that they shall be taught the Spanish language and embrace the Christian faith for the greater glory of God and in accordance with the wishes of our most sovereign lady, the Queen. In witness hereof stands this protocol drawn up this 12th day of October in the year 1492. Sunday, 14th October. Today moved freely among the natives and traded with them. They are a friendly people, guileless and unwarlike, eager to welcome us and generous in their dealings. The country is obviously rich, and the natives wear pieces of gold on necklets and in their noses.
You see this? Very beautiful. Magic juju. Plenty strong. Lovely. I give him you, and you give me that bit of yellow rubbish, eh?
What do you think you're doing?
Just a little honest trading, Admiral?
Honest trading? A broken piece of worthless crockery for an ounce of gold?
But he don't know it's gold, Admiral.
That makes it all the worse.
But he wants this. He does really. You want it now, don't you? Want-y? There you are.
If you don't understand, I'll explain. We are here to convert these natives to Christianity, not to exploit them. Is that clear?
Yes, Admiral.
A piece of gold like that is... it's worth at least a falcon's bell.
Well,
Thursday, 22nd November. So far, I have not come upon Japan or India as I expected, but I have found one large island which the natives call Cuba, and which is rich in spices and gold, and many smaller islands, the location of which I have marked on my charts. It seems to me that there cannot be under the sun lands superior in fertility, in mildness of cold and heat, in abundance of good fruits and pure water. The men are well and in good spirits. Up to the present, among all my people, nobody has even had a headache or taken to his bed through sickness. Indeed, my only trouble has been with Martin Pinthon, who continually disobeys my instructions. I am convinced he is plotting against me.
Whom do you suppose the king will be glad to see? The man who arrives home first with a cargo of gold, or the man who stays behind and carries out instructions? Well, are you with me?
Aye, sir.
Or not?
All right.
Good. Better not let the men know anything about this until I say so. Carry on with your orders and leave the rest to me. Understand?
Aye, sir.
He's not taking any notice. Shall we fire again?
No.
Do we change course and follow them?
No, he's faster than we are. We'd never catch him unless he wanted us to.
That's true now.
The thing is he gone to look for the gold mines, or is he making for home?
It's my guess it's the gold.
I don't know. Perhaps he'd like to be first home with the news. Whichever it is, we'll meet again one day. And I shan't forget what's happened tonight.
Saturday, 1st December. Today I came upon more wonders, the like of which I never thought to see in this world.
Huh? What do you suppose this could be?
A fishing net?
No. The mesh is too big.
Well, perhaps it's used for storing something.
Yeah, maybe, but what?
It's a bed.
Diego, we could sling 50 of these aboard ship, and every man jack of the crew could sleep in comfort.
Oh, I shouldn't do that.
Why not?
It's too comfortable. Once you got him into these, you'd never get him out again. See what I mean?
What do you suppose he's doing?
Drawing in the smoke and blowing it out again. Seems to enjoy it.
Doesn't that just prove how backward they are? You never see a civilized man doing a thing like that.
He wants you to try one.
Thank you. Thank you.
I wonder what they're saying about us at home.
If we're dead, I expect.
You can't blame them, can you? At this rate, it'll be Easter before we return.
No. We'll start back in a day or two.
Shan't be sorry to see Spain again.
All right.
Evening, Admiral. Shall I take over?
Yes, I'm ready for bed. Tonight I shall sleep like a child.
Think I shall turn in too. Night one.
Good night. Can we refloat her?
I don't see how, sir. Christmas Day, 1492. Last night, the Santa Maria went aground in Caracol Bay. The master, the pilot, and the helmsman had all gone to their beds, and only a boy was at the tiller. Even so, the vessel might have been saved if my orders had been faithfully carried out. As it is, she is a total loss, and I have ordered her stores to be brought ashore.
Vincenti wants to know if he can break up her timbers and bring them ashore too. Well, they'll help to build a fort or a hut or two.
All right.
And what do you wish us to do about Kozar?
Nothing.
But he was the officer of the watch. The whole thing's his fault.
No, it's God's will.
Oh, everything is God's will.
If this hadn't happened, we'd have sailed back to Spain, all of us. Now it'll be different. We shall leave 40 men here to explore the islands and start a colony and teach the natives Christianity.
And Curzon's to go free? Whatever you say.
Diego, I want you to stay here.
Stay here?
As governor, will you?
Oh, yes, if you wish it.
I do. It may be many months before anyone will return here again. I've got to cross the Atlantic alone this time. No convoy, no companions, just the Nina. I want to be sure I've left the New World in good hands.
I'll do what I can.
You don't mind staying behind?
Why should I mind? I shall be in paradise here.
In that ship, alone, I may be in paradise ahead of you.
Bring a chair for the Admiral. A chair? Bring a chair.
We are all eagerness to hear of your discoveries, my Lord Admiral.
Thank you, Your Majesty. I hardly know where to begin.
Well, the bare facts we know.
We have read your letters and taken great pleasure in them.
Thank you, madam.
So these are the men from the new land.
Yes, Your Majesty. In those lands they live naked, though they paint themselves, as you see. We procured them clothes for the voyage.
Mother, what's that bird?
What is it, Admiral?
This is the talking bird of the new land.
Talking bird?
Yes, Your Majesty.
Long live the king! Long live the queen! Long live the admiral!
I was merely making the point that in everyone's life, there is a moment when he reaches the climax of his achievement. If he's a fisherman, it's the day he makes a record catch. If he's an admiral, it's the day he wins a great battle or discovers a new world.
What do you say to that, Chancellor?
I agree with my Lord Bishop. But the great thing, of course, is to have the wit to know it and make the most of it.
What would Your Majesty say was the greatest achievement of her reign? The discovery of the new lands or the conquest of the Moors?
Which would you say?
conquest of the Moors.
Your reason?
Because that is something which only a great commander could have accomplished. Master Columbus' achievement couldn't stand in the same class. It was merely something that was bound to happen.
Bound to happen.
Well, it stands to reason. Sooner or later, some ship sailing idly in that direction would have come upon the new lands. That's all there is to it.
Do you agree, Admiral?
I should like to borrow an egg, with your Majesty's leave.
An egg?
If your Majesty pleases.
Why do you ask for an egg, Admiral?
I should like to ask your guest a riddle.
A riddle? But Her Majesty asked you a question.
With the Majesty's permission, I will ask you to solve my riddle first, and then answer her question.
We are all attention.
The riddle, your Majesties, is how to make an egg stand up on end like this, using nothing to support it. Will you try?
Oh, it's impossible, of course.
Your Majesty?
It's beyond my wit.
And mine.
It's beyond anybody's wit. It's impossible.
On the contrary, sir, it's easy when somebody shows you how. And that, your Majesties, is the answer to Master Bobadilla's question. Most things are easy when someone has shown you how.
Most things are easy when someone has shown you how. Too easy, perhaps. In the years that followed, new fleets sailed the ocean seas. New lands were added to the map of the world. But it was not a peaceful world. Death and disease took their toll of the early colonists. And it was scarcely 10 years later that an old man, old before his time, worn out by intrigue and rebellion, lay in a hut in the jungle and dictated a letter to the Spanish court.
To Juana de Torres. Salutations and greetings. I write to you, dear lady, because I know that you are near to the Queen and can see that she has told the truth. I know there are persons at court who wish to do me injury and who will not hesitate to belittle what I have done. They judge me as a governor who had gone to Sicily or some other city under regular government, when I ought to be judged as a conqueror who has placed under their majesties' sovereignty a new world, whereby Spain, which was reckoned poor, has become the richest of countries.
Bobadilla's right. Something must be done about it. Every ship that comes back from the new lands brings another story of disorder and bloodshed. What's the man up to? He's been given enough power.
Too much, sir, if I may be allowed to say so. He seems to resent anybody else having any sort of entry into the new lands. Instead of colonizing and keeping order, all he does is to go aimlessly cruising about from island to island.
Oh, come now, that's not altogether just, surely. He claims to have discovered the mainland of Cathay, what the natives call Cuba.
With the greatest of respect, madam, he also claims to have found the Garden of Eden.
I won't have him ridiculed. His discoveries have given Spain a great new empire.
Well, nobody denies that. It's what he's doing with the empire that we're complaining about.
It's easy enough to stay at home and criticize, especially when the person concerned isn't here to defend himself.
But, Your Majesty, the amount of gold he sent home last month was scarcely enough to pay for the carrying of it.
Of course, there are always plenty of parrots. But who wants parrots?
And it isn't as though the slaves he sent home were worth anything. They're such poor stuff.
I wanted the people of the New World converted, not enslaved.
So did we all.
True.
The slaves shall be sent back, every one of them.
I quite agree. He'd no right to do it.
It was completely against instructions.
Yes, there I can't defend him.
The trouble is that the man's unreliable. One can't trust him.
Exactly.
He may be a great sailor and discoverer, but he can't govern. And if he can't govern, we must do it for him.
But I don't want him disgraced. He's done much for us and for Spain.
Of course not. He shall keep his titles if that will make you happy. To the Lord Admiral of the Ocean Seas and Viceroy of the New Lands, greetings.
We've commanded our good servant Don Francisco de Bobadilla to take ship and present himself to you in order that he may act as Chief Justice and Royal Commissioner in the new lands, with power to arrest all those who mutiny or rebel against our royal persons, and for the settlement of all just grievances, etc., etc. You can fill in the details, Bobadilla. Yes. May the 28th, sir. 28th of 1499, I, the King.
I, the Queen.
These articles allege that you have shown yourself persistently hostile to those of Spanish blood who have come to these islands, that you have set Spanish gentlemen to labor that is unworthy and degraded, that you have made unjust war on the native population, and that you have retained for your own use and enjoyment gold, land, and other goods rightly the property of the crown. Have you anything to say?
To you, nothing.
Very well. You are under close arrest. You will be shackled and sent back to Spain for trial.
Stand over here. All right, son, you may go. Wait outside.
Please forgive me, Admiral. It grieves me beyond measure to see you treated like this. But in front of these soldiers, you understand.
Yes, I understand.
Come and sit down. You're in pain.
I'll have them taken off directly we sail.
No. I shall wear them until the Queen herself orders them to be removed. One more word, Your Majesty, and I have finished. It is 17 years since I first came here to serve you. 8 of those years were spent in discussion and frustration. I was laughed at and rejected, but I was right. I have placed under your sovereignty more land than there is in Africa and Europe. More than 1,700 islands, not counting Hispaniola. And what is my reward for all this? To be arrested and put in chains.
Your imprisonment was highly displeasing to us. It was never our intention. You must know that.
Then I am to be reinstated as Viceroy of the new land?
Master Columbus, you have suffered much, endured much. Now we think it best that you should rest for a while. All your monies and titles shall be restored to you. But for the present, it is better that you stay here.
That's right, Admiral. We'll talk about future plans later on.
But I shall die if I don't go back to sea.
For the moment, we think it best that you should not.
Majesty, this is worse than my shackles.
Look after him.
You're worn out. Come and rest.
No, I'd rather go home.
Things are difficult just now, with Naples and Venice. There's a war on, you know.
There's always a war on.
They'll agree to another voyage soon. You'll see.
It's too late. If I go on 20 more voyages, I'll never recover from such ingratitude. Don't they realize who I am?
Of course they do.
It's time they did. People will remember me long after they are dead and forgotten.